Braves show some moxie, come back after a crushing defeat and beat the Dodgers 9-2. Rosario, the second player in postseason history with 2 home runs in a triple in any game. Steve Garvey, Game 1, the 78 NLCS. The Braves snap a 10-game losing skid at Dodger Stadium and find themselves in the same spot they were in a year ago, up 3-1 on the Dodgers. That didn't go well for Atlanta. Maybe this year they flip the script. Well, familiar territory. There it is, 3-1 lead versus the Dodgers in the NLCS for the second straight year. Lost the last 3 games to the Braves. 1 win away, though, yet again, from reaching the World Series for the first time since 1999 when they got swept by the New York Yankees. So, Mr. Sampson, first and foremost, I just want to get this out of the way. Can't predict anything in these playoffs. Cannot predict anything. It was set up for forget about the momentum. You've got the 20-game winner, the only 20-game winner in Major League Baseball in Urias going against a bullpen game for the Braves. And you got to play the game because the results have been all over the place. You can't expect anything.
We sat in the green room before the game started, and we had picked the Dodgers. The Dodgers, by all accounts, were going to take the momentum, even though we agree there's no momentum, and they were going to take this game no problem. And then we said, wait a minute, just because the way this postseason has gone, that means the Braves are going to win. Get Doyle on the phone. Get up to Caesars. We've got a Braves victory. We couldn't get service here at CBS Sports HQ.
What does this say about the Braves, though, as a team, the resilience?
Well, their manager said it last night. We were here at this desk. I can't remember when, maybe like last night, or was it a year ago?
It's all a dream.
Can't remember. And he said, don't worry, my guys are fine. And I said, what really happens when you lose a game like that? They eat their food, they go back to the hotel, they go out to dinner, they may go out, get a drink or 7, and they come back to the park today. They don't think about Bellinger's 3-run home run. They don't think about Betts winning the game. They know they're up 2-1, and they came to L.A. to win a game. Now that they've won 1, now they try to win 2 and get themselves right to the World Series.
You know, this game, in a lot of respects, was kind of a microcosm for the Braves season, right? This was a season that was going nowhere. And then at the trade deadline, they feel like they're close to making something happen. If they can just make a few moves, Rosario comes on board, Duvall comes on board, and boy, did they both have big, big nights for the Braves when they needed it.
Yeah, do you know what happens at the trade deadline? You try to help your team if you think that your team deserves to be helped. When Acuna got hurt, when Ozuna was put on administrative leave, when Soroka broke his Achilles, these are not 3 schleppers, folks. This is their #1 starter, the best player on the team in Acuna, and Ozuna, my guy, although I can't say that anymore. Wish I could, but I can't. 3 guys done. But what Alex does, the president of baseball operations, he says, you know what? Let's help this team because the NLE stinks. He brings in Rosario, brings in Duvall from the cellar dweller Marlins, and guess what happens? These guys help them with Freddie Freeman, and it's not that they don't miss Acuna, but guess what? They're getting it done with who they have.
Freddie Freeman is the name you mentioned right there, and he's been the one constant. But we saw in games 1 and 2 something that I don't think anybody ever thought they would see from Freddie Freeman. 7 consecutive strikeouts at one point. But you know, this is part of what makes guys like him, right? That it's just the short memory, and he comes back 3 hits in game number 3, and then the home run, the double in game number 4.
So when you spend time with Freddie Freeman, here's what you notice about him. When you talk to him after a game, you don't know whether he went 4 for 5 or 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts. His heart rate stays at a steady 97 no matter what's going on. So when he's striking out 7 straight times and everyone's talking, all the gas bags on the air saying, oh my God, he's finished, he stinks. And I said, everyone just relax. Everybody breathe. It's going to be just fine because it's Freddie Freeman. And guess what? It's Freddie Freeman.
It's Freddie Freeman once again. Let's flip to the other side now, because the handling of Julio Urias, it's going to be another talking point after this one. It was already a talking point with a lot of people questioning bringing him in game 2 in relief. He's pitched 4 times in the last 11 days. A guy that, again, as a full-time starter this year, won 20 games. What are your thoughts on how they've utilized him this postseason.
The Dodgers have done it to Scherzer. They're doing it to Urias. And the problem is that what worked last year is not working this year because the workload is so much greater over the course of a season. Last year in the bubble in Texas, when Urias was closing games because Jansen was not pitching well, they were coming off a 60-game season. This year, they're coming off a 162-game season. Urias has 185 innings in that arm, in his left arm. Guess what? Too many. The increase from year to year, because we baby these pitchers so much, this is when you realize it takes effect. Urias was not throwing 95 on the black. Urias was throwing 92, 93, and he got hit in a way that you didn't see during the regular season. But it's too late to change now for the Dodgers. They've made their bed, and they're going to have to keep lying in it.
And the other interesting thing, and this, again, it's fascinating with baseball how you can't really look at decisions in a vacuum, right? So the Dodgers know they have a bullpen game in Game 5. Dave Roberts sees that Urias doesn't have it in Game 4. But you kind of got to stick with him because you need those arms the next day.
Well, we said it pregame. They got to try to get 5 innings out of him, but you don't expect him to be down 4-0, 5-0. But at the end of the day, he did get him through 5 innings. But here's what I was very surprised at. They kept Gonsolin in for both the 8th and the 9th inning. And there's a pretty big difference between 5-2 and 9-2. And Gonsolin gives up those 4 runs, which means game over. Really, it means game over. And you left Trinan, you left Gratterall. Maybe you're saving them for tomorrow, but you have an off day the day after. I'm not sure what Dave was doing there.
Last thing, we showed it in the highlight. Justin Turner pulling up lame, running down to first in the 7th inning. This is a team that's already down Max Muncy. We don't have any word just yet, but it certainly looks like Turner is done, at least for this series, if not for the remainder of the postseason. Just how big of a hit is that to a team that's already, again, missing a big bat in Muncy?
Thank God it was Justin Turner who got rid of a bad hammy, because the other guy on base there was Walker Ferris-Bueller, the ace, the Game 7 starter. He was pinch running for Albert. I'm not actually 40 Pujols, who did get a pinch hit, base hit, great. But what happens? You have to pinch run for the guy. They had nobody, so they brought Bueller in. I'm upstairs in the suite. I'm pacing back and forth. This guy does something to his hamstring, twists his ankle, does something, falls on his shoulder while sliding. I'm despondent beyond repair. And then what happens on that play, of course, Bueller's fine on the double play. It's Turner who comes up lame. He doesn't get shot on the base pass, but it looks that way when your hamstring twists, breaks. He's done. But you know what? Not terrible for the Dodgers because he hasn't been that helpful.
You can take the executive out of the suite, but you cannot take the suite out of the executive. You should have seen this guy when that move was made. Pacing around like we had the suite right here. He still had something to do with it. David Sampson. Great stuff as the defending champs are on the brink of elimination. And you see the bullpen coming through for the Braves in the bullpen game. These are the types of numbers that you need in a day like this, in a game like this, and in a postseason that this is becoming more and more prevalent with. By the way, just a quick note. Should the Braves win this series, they won 18 fewer games in the regular season than the Dodgers. 106 for the Dodgers, 88 for the Braves. It's the largest differential in a postseason series since 2005, when the Cardinals, with 100 wins, 18 better than the Padres, the Cardinals swept them. So this would be a massive upset if the Braves could finish it off this time.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.